York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Cory, you're taking time out today because Trump has reached his first 100 days.
Yeah, he's a few days shy, and it's coming to the end of a period where a lot of times people take a look. It started with FDR and what you accomplish in your first 100 days. And clearly this has been a time where he hasn't accomplished anything in his legislative agenda. But worse than that, we've seen what he's been trying to do: take away health care from tens of millions of Americans, institute a Muslim ban. I mean, he's a guy that is filling his cabinet with, he said he's going to drain the swamp, but he's filling his cabinet with, Wall Street multi-millionaire and billionaires, and really not the kind of folks that reflect the America that we want. So it's really a good time to stop and pause and say, look at what we got, and we got to fight for what we need.
All right, so Cory Booker, right there. Now, Trump, and we've talked about it on this show several times, the things that Trump said he wanted to do, he's trying to do. So there's not really any surprises other than some of the lies like draining the swamp, right? And I think when he said drain the swamp, he meant we're going to remove your typical politicians and put in people who aren't politicians and still get this money.
Well, two things. One is I don't think anybody, and this is why I think the health care bill failed, is because he didn't do what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to bring in health care that's going to cover more people than Obama, that's going to be better than Obama. Then he turns out and supports legislation that strips health care away from 24 million Americans, including and especially rural Americans and working class Americans. So
and those are the people who mainly voted for him.
Exactly. I was actually astonished at the bill that they had and what damage it would do to working class folks, to struggling folks, and especially to urban and rural folks who would have really hit, as well as the elderly, frankly.
Senator, I got a tough question for you.
Please.
Tell me one good thing that President Trump has done in the first 100 days.
Love it. Good question.
Well, look, I have to say this has been one of those times where I've been fighting against things he's been doing, even more than I thought on his inauguration day.
Right.
And so, look, there's been a whole raft of appointments. He's been putting people in charge of cabinet positions that are determined to destroy the very agency that they're now leading, whether it's the EPA or the like. So, finding things good. Look, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to gratuitously attack a person just because they're a Republican. In fact, some of the best things I've done down here and gotten accomplished, like getting a new tunnel, funding for new tunnels underneath the Hudson, have been done in partnership with Republicans. But this is a guy that, in a dramatic fashion, is doing things that really, I think, are going to hurt not just Democrats, but going to hurt this country and all the people. So I don't have any praise to lavish upon him. We have a lot of work to do because now he's going to be putting up a tax plan, which I'm going to be pretty confident that, again, it's not going to help the core of his voters. It's probably going to benefit the wealthiest in America and damage and hurt working class Americans.
So basically, Cory, you don't have anything nice to say about Donald Trump.
Well, I don't need to think that it's a matter of nice or not. I'm always respectful. I respect the office. That's why I went to the inauguration. That's why I'm going to the White House this week for some foreign policy discussions. I don't want to degrade or demean Donald Trump. The reality is we have to know. Martin Luther King said it eloquently. You can't beat darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. You can't beat hate with hate. Only love can do that. So I respect the office. I will not demean or degrade the person. But when it comes to New Jersey, and heck, I go home every week to my home in Newark. I want to look folks in the eye and let them know that I'm not going to equivocate, hesitate, or retreat. I'm fighting for the state. I'm fighting for my community, and I'm going to do it respectfully. But I'm not going to don't mistake my kindness with weakness.
So, the Supreme Court appointee Gorsuch.
Yes.
Yes, he's a conservative, but I read many of his cases, his big cases, and it seems like he's a letter of the law kind of guy. Doesn't seem like he includes a lot of his own, whether religious or moral, feelings into his decisions.
Well, look, I mean, this guy, I've read a lot of the cases, too, and I was astonished. He is not a mainstream, even in the conservative thought. Remember, he came from a list prepared by right-wing organizations for Donald Trump. He didn't even reach out to Democrats, as Bill Clinton did, as Barack Obama did, reaching out to Republicans. And if you look at his cases, he is some astonishing astonishing cases, even one that got overruled by the majority of the Supreme Court, conservative justices as well, during his confirmation hearings about the right for a family with a disabled child to get access to a quality education. So whether it's workers' rights, choosing the corporation over the worker, whether it is issues of a woman's right to make her own decisions, choosing the rights of a corporation over the privacy and freedom rights of a woman. This is a guy that has astonishing cases, some that make you scratch your head. One in which a truck driver, in the middle of sub-zero weather, pulled over his truck, called for help. They couldn't get to him in time. To save his life, he unhitched his truck and drove around and then rehitched his truck just to save his life. Got fired for that. He did something that any rational human being would do to protect his own life and safety and the safety of people on the road. He chose in favor of the corporation. And so this is a time with Citizens United and more that we've seen the powers of corporations rise in our country, the powers of individuals get lessened. And this is a Supreme Court justice that's going to ensure that that trend continues, and that's outrageous.
So North Korea, I'm hearing all of you, the senators and assemblymen, everyone have to go to the White House for briefings on what may happen with North Korea. Where are we headed here, Senator Cory Booker?
Well, that's what I'm going to find out. I mean, what frustrates me with this administration, again, Donald Trump told us that he was going to beat ISIS. He told us that he had a plan that even better than the generals. But what we haven't heard from him is on foreign policy any coherent strategy. What is our strategy in Syria? What is our strategy with Russia in the Ukraine? What is our strategy to deal with the famines, the worst famines of my lifetime that we've seen from Yemen to South Sudan? And what's the strategy on North Korea? So I'm going with open ears to see what is the plan to deal with a tremendous threat to this country, that we not only have a leader that's racing to get a nuclear weapon, but also looking to find ways to launch that nuclear weapon across continents that could potentially hit America. But frankly, hitting any country is unacceptable. Using nuclear weapons is unacceptable.
Cory, we've had you on here for a long time, and let's not get away from the subject that's most important. When is this date with Mindy Kaling going down?
Don't get me in trouble. Just to let people know what the facts are. This is a TV show that she has that insulted the city of Newark. I do not stand for that. She, to her credit, to her magnanimity, when I called her out on Twitter, said, "Hey, that was the character on the show." She said love for Newark, and I invited her to come over to the city. She's an extraordinary woman, extraordinary actor. She's breaking barriers, expanding even the moral imagination of our country, and putting herself out there in such a bold way. So there's nothing romantic, though, that was intended. It was more, hey,
intention,
come to Newark, discover Newark.
Intention. I don't always intend to get romantic.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes
life happens, Senator.
Sexy
you never
time.
No, full stop. There's nothing romantic there, but hey. She's a good sport, and she's also somebody that, hey, I'm a fan of, and I hope to get the chance to meet one day.
Senator Cory Booker, before we get to Laura Stiles, question, what are the Democrats doing about midterm elections? Things could have turned right for the Democrats in Kansas because a seat was open there and almost got secured by the Democrats because people are really upset with the Republicans. Same thing going on with Newt Gingrich's seat in Georgia.
Right.
So what's happening at the midterms? Who, are the Democrats going to be able to take some more seats?
Yeah, look, these are great signs. In both of those races, red districts, we closed the gap. And in Georgia, we have a potential still to win that seat. Montana has a special election coming up, which again is another dramatic place where we could show as Democrats that we're rallying. I've been inspired that New York, New Jersey, people were sending $1 contributions, $5 contributions, because they know how important it is to send the signal. So on my Facebook page and my Twitter page, I've been talking about this. But we have about 18 months until midterms that could literally have us take back the House of Representatives in the same way that the Tea Party took away the House from Barack Obama. Our activism, our engagement can flip the House and protect the Senate. So I'm asking people to get involved, get engaged, even if you don't have a congressional race. We have tight congressional races in New Jersey in districts where we have Republicans, that, again, people's activism and engagement. Now, we know from Texas to Ohio, if Democrats voted, we would win those seats. We have the majority of the seats in many of these states, and my point is, and again, let's stick with Martin Luther King, who said it to us 50 years ago. He said the problem today, he said, we'll have to repent for is not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but the appalling silence and inaction of the good people. So we got to get up and get engaged now, not wait until election season, but we got to get up and get engaged now.
Senator, when it comes to building this wall, where do we stand with all of this and all this talk about a possible government shutdown?
Well, the wall is, everybody has to know they should be outraged and insulted that Donald Trump wants to spend billions of dollars, which we could be using for education, for innovation, to build our own infrastructure. We in the New Jersey, New York area know we have crumbling bridges, crumbling tunnels. The money for that wall could give us a first-class infrastructure investments in our region. This is a wall that even experts on immigration say we don't need. And so this is something that is a lie that he told, because remember, he said, I'm going to build a wall, and who's going to pay for it? He said Mexico's going to pay for it. That's not true. That is a lie. He's asking us to spend our hard-earned tax dollars on that piece of infrastructure when there's urgent needs elsewhere. It's a non-starter for Democrats. We will not support any kind of budget moves this week that involve building that wall. Non-starter. It's just something that we're going to fight, and this week it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Senator Cory Booker, man, we always appreciate you coming on our show, and hopefully you can come in the studio sometime, man, hang out, and we can have more of these this dialogue, because I would definitely like to get deeper into the partisanship that's happening right now and the fact that, you know, many of us just want to see some stuff get done.
Yeah.
You know, the back and forth, the ping pong and the standoff, the, you know, closed door negotiations, the hidden agendas. You know, many of us are just wondering where the job's coming from, how can we get our kids prepared, what's education and healthcare going to look like, you know, the simple stuff. And, you know, some of this other more trivial stuff is annoying.
No, you got the right heart. And, you know, my first 3 years in the Senate were just that, working with people across the aisle, bring home singles and doubles for New Jersey. But this Trump era has got a lot of more challenges to it. But you guys are amazing. I love how you keep it real. I'd love to come back in and sit there face to face and have a deeper dive.
You guys give it up for Senator Cory Booker,
Thank
New
you,
Jersey's
Senator
own.
Booker.
Hey, Cory, one more thing.
Yeah.
Who's going to get governor for state of New Jersey after what's the fat guy's name?
Christie.
Christie, after he's out of there.
I think Phil Murphy's going to be the next governor of the state of New Jersey.
Phil Murphy.
Phil Murphy.
Is he related to Bill Murphy?
He is not related to Bill Murphy, but he's a really qualified, competent guy who's got a great vision for our state that's inclusive, that makes the right investments in areas from education, frankly, to job creation. So he's the guy that I am 100% behind.
There it is.
All right. Thank you, Senator.
All right, thank you.
By the way, I don't even know who Bill Murphy is. I know who Bill Murray is.
Yeah, I knew for a second. Why didn't you say Eddie Murphy? Like, it didn't even make sense what you said, but whatever.